Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians, Chapter 7. I seem to recall that last year a Free Kingdoms biographer wrote an article claiming I had spent my childhood performing a deep infiltration of librarian lands. I guess in his mind, spending my life eating Twinkies and playing video games counted as a deep infiltration. I hope you Free Kingdomers aren't too put out to discover that dragons didn't come and bow to me at my birth. I wasn't tutored by the spirits of my dead Smedry ancestors, nor did I kill my first librarian by slitting his throat with his own library card. This is the real me, the troubled boy who grew into an even more troubled young man. Now, I'm not a terrible person. I'm just not a particularly nice one either. If you'd been tied to altars, nearly eaten by walking romance novels, and thrown off a glass pillar taller than Mount Everest, you might have turned out a little like me yourself. Sing tripped. Now, I've seen a lot of people trip in my lifetime. I've seen people stumble, tumble, and misstep. I once saw my foster brother fall down the stairs. Not my fault. And I also saw a local bully belly flop when his diving board broke beneath him. I plead the fifth on that one. I have never, however, seen a trick quite so well executed as the one Singh performed in the library lobby that day. The hefty Mokian quite convincingly stumbled on the welcome mat just inside the doors. He cried out, hopping on one foot, a teetering, lumbering mound with the kinetic energy of a collapsing building. People scattered. Children cried, clutching picture books about aardvarks as in their terrified fingers. A librarian raised her hand in warning. With a weird mixture of skillful grace and a mad lack of control, Singh fell over a comfortable reading chair and collided with a massive bookshelf. Those shelves are, you may know, usually bolted to the floor. That didn't matter. When confronted with a 350-pound Mokian missile, iron bends. And the bookshelf fell. Books flew in the air, pages fluttered, metal groaned. Now's our chance, Grandpa Smedry said. He dashed forward, just one more body in the flurry of lobby activity. The rest of us followed, scooting past the horrified librarians. Grandpa Smedry led us behind the children's section, through the media section, and to a pair of shabby doors at the back marked employees only. Put your oculators lenses back on, lad, Grandpa Smedry said, sliding on his reddish pair. I did so as well, and through those lenses I could see a certain faint glow around the doors. Not a white or black glow, like I'd seen before, but instead a bluish one. The power was focused on a square in the wall. On closer inspection, I could see that section of the wall was inset with a small square of glass. A Huchlander handprint scanner, Grandpa Smedry said. Kind of like recognizes glass. How quaint. All right, lad, it's your turn. I gulped quietly, feeling nervous, both because the librarian was so near and because everyone was counting on me. I reached out and pressed my hand against the door. There was a hum from the glass panel, but I ignored it. Instead, I focused on myself. I'd always known instinctively about my power. I'd always had it, but I'd rarely tried to control it specifically. Now, I focused on it, and I felt a tingle, like the shock that comes from touching a battery to your tongue, pulsed out of my chest and down my arm. There was a crack from the door as the door lock snapped. Masterfully done, lad, Grandpa Smedry said. Masterfully done indeed. I shrugged, feeling proud. Doors have always been my specialty. Quentin quickly pushed open the door and waved everyone through. Grandpa Smedry's eyes twinkled as he passed me. I've always wanted to do this, he whispered. I could hear Basile grumbling something under her breath as she joined us in the hallway. Singh's bag of guns slung over her shoulder, Quentin held the door open for a moment longer, and finally, a puffing Singh rounded the bookshelves and joined us. Sorry, he said. One of the female patrons insisted on wrapping my ankle for me. Indeed, his sandal-shod right foot now bore a support bandage. Quentin closed the door, then checked the handle, twisting it a few times. Coconuts! The pain don't hurt, he said, then paused. Sorry, he said, flushing. Sometimes the gibberish comes out when I don't want it to. Anyway, the lock is still broken, and it will be suspicious next time someone comes through here. Can't be helped, Grandpa Smedry said, pulling out what appeared to be two small hourglasses. He gave them each a tap, and the sand started flowing. He handed one to me. The sand continued to flow at the same rate no matter which way I turned the device. Nifty, I thought. I'd always wanted a magical hourglass. Well, not really, but if I had known that there were such things as magical hourglasses, I'd have wanted one. Who wouldn't? I should note, however, that the Free Kingdomers would be offended by me calling the hourglass magical. They have very strange feelings on what counts as magical and what doesn't. For instance, oculatory powers and Smedry talents are considered a form of magic to most Free Kingdomers, since they are things that can only be performed or used by a select few people. The hourglass, like the cinematic cars, Singh's glasses, or Basile's jacket, can be used by anyone. That makes those things technology in Free Kingdomers speak. It's confusing, I know. However, you're probably smart enough to figure it out. And if you aren't, then I shall likely call you an insulting name. Wait for Chapter 15. We'll be here in 1 hour, Grandpa Smedry said. Any longer than that, it will be getting close to closing time. When that happens, all those librarians out on patrol will return to check in, and we'll be in serious trouble. Quentin is with me. Sing and Bastille go with Alcatraz. But, Bastille said. No, Grandpa Smedley interrupted. You're going with him, Bastille. I order you to. I'm your Kristen, she objected. True, Grandpa Smedley said, but you're sworn to protect all Smedleys, especially oculators. The lad will need your help more than I will. Bastille huffed quietly, but made no further objections. As for myself, I wasn't really sure whether to be annoyed or glad. You three inspect this floor, then move on up to the second one, Grandpa Smedley said quietly. Quentin and I will take the top floor. But, Bastille said, that's where the Dark Oculator is. That's where his lair is, Grandpa Smedley corrected. And we're going to leave off on page 108 for tomorrow. So I will read Alcatraz vs. Evil Librarians, chapter 7, page 108 tomorrow.